So this is our home that we're going to be getting some heat, cheaper heat into, and this is how we're going to power the setup. We've got a 100 watt solar panel, we've got a leisure battery, we've got a solar controller, and I've also got a trickle charger, so we can have 240 volts, charging the leisure battery when necessary. So we're checking all that out as well. Alright, so I think we've taken about 40 minutes or so to lay everything out and try and put everything in order. So just to talk you through, this will be our fuel tank. This little nugget's going to take the fuel out into here, into the fuel line, into the fuel chamber, which will come out and around another bit of fuel line into the fuel pump, which will then come into the fuel line again and into the main body diesel heater. And what we've got coming out of it at the bottom is this one, the exhaust, and this one is the cold air intake, and this is where the hot air will come out. Whoosh! And this wiring loom has got 3 things off of it, so it's a real simple plug and play. Excuse the socks. So out of the wiring loom, it obviously goes into the fuel pump, so that needs power to work, and the red and black will connect to our 12 volt battery, and this one will connect to the little controller. So we've got various little bags of things we've taken out. We've just named them so we know what they are, so we know what's going on. The instructions are, I'd say, 80% okay. We've got this little book as well. You know, the English is pretty good, the diagrams are pretty good. There are some bits that we're looking at and thinking, oh, what's that for? But this is the main diagram we've used to kind of lay everything out and get ourselves an idea of how it's all going to go together. So this is one of the boxes we're hoping to house the heater in. So it's on its turret plate at the moment. We need to drill a big hole underneath so that the exhaust pipe and the air intake pipe will come out. And then on this wall we'll mount the little fuel chamber and the fuel pump, and we'll have a little exit hole for the wiring loom to come out and come in and do all sorts. Sorry to my dad who built these lovely cat boxes that the cats no longer sleep in, but this is going to be put to very good use. Got a 100 watt solar panel running over to a leisure battery with a solar controller and a smart charger. Obviously the power to the unit will eventually attach the battery and the controller cables there as well. And this is the setup that we've got in a box. So fuel to come in into the little chamber, into the fuel pump, and out, and then underneath up into the fixings under there. So we've got exhaust out and the air filter or whatever it is. Filling it with fuel. Are you nervous? So we just put the power on, we just primed the fuel through a little bit, so now's the moment of truth to turn it on, see if it all works properly. Here we go, it's on. The fuel pump's working, that's a good sign. We go in time with the fuel pump. So I can hear it powering up now. Fuel is definitely going in. Got a bit of exhaust smoke and smell. We've got cool air coming out at the moment. Looks like we've done it. Nice warm air. Cozy! So it's been on for about half an hour now. We're getting a really decent heat out of there. So just going to power it down. So it'll go through the power down sequence, and then I'll be able to move all of this. It looks a bit of a mess. It's going to be nice and tidy. We'll move it to the back of the caravan. So we're back outside. We've moved from our little testing shed there, come to the caravan. We're doing a makeshift installation, so that is the diesel heater in there, exhaust coming out, air intake, gas tank, which obviously we need to do better, and then Amy's just running pipe along and up into the bedrooms. Whoop, whoop. We're getting there. Obviously we're going to lose a lot of heat by running these pipes outside, but this is a starting point and we'll improve as we go. $19.3 $19.3 in the spare room. Amazing. That's cracking considering it's 7 degrees outside at the minute in a horrible grey Wales. So we've left that running. We've just been out for an hour. Hang on a sec. 19.9. So that's 19.9 degrees in Ollie's room. So considering the setup is still a bit shabby and we need to do some work on it, we're pretty pleased. Good morning. So we're a few days on with our project. The heater is going well. We've got it coming into the end room here. Amy's put some drainage pipe over it to try and reduce the waste heat going out into the air. She's put some of these struts in as well. So at the moment everything's a little bit exposed, but she's gonna replace all this soffit board, this white soffit board, all along here. So this is all spare sheets at the moment. That's the battery in there, there's the heater in there, you can hear it churning heat out. That's a little diesel tank at the end. So we'll have a little door here, easy access to the units, and all that will be boarded off then, and the exhaust coming out there. Okay, so we thought we'd end the video with a bit of a snapshot as to what we were doing last winter and how much it was costing us compared to this winter now with the diesel heater and what it's costing us. So last winter in 2 rooms we had oil-filled radiators, so our bedroom and Ollie's bedroom. We had one 2000 watt oil-filled radiator on about half setting most of the night, and one 800 watt in Ollie's room on full power overnight. So altogether per night we were using, per hour we were using 1800 watts, which is 1.8 kilowatt hours. So you can see on your electricity bill how much you're charged per kilowatt hour unit of electricity, and for us last year it was about 35 pence per kilowatt hour. I think it might have been a bit higher, but I'll use this figure as an example. So per hour to run these 2 heaters was costing us 63p, and when you times that by 12 hours overnight, which we were definitely running them for 12 hours if not more, we were hitting about 8 to 10 quid, you could say, for every night through the winter. Pretty much for, I would say, 90 to 100 days, so that's a heck of a lot of money. And bear in mind that was just to heat 2 rooms, 2 bedrooms overnight. So looking at the diesel heater and what we're doing now, just some assumptions before we do some calculations, and I've got some of this information from some other YouTube videos. So I've learned that the dose of fuel that the pump gives to the heater is, in 1 dose of fuel is about 0.022 millilitres, and how much you use per cycle depends on the hertz setting of the heater. So it goes from 1.7 all the way up to about 5-ish. So 1.7 hertz is the lowest setting. So if you imagine it's the lowest amount of fuel going into, the lowest amount of cycles of fuel going into the heater. So to find out how much fuel we're using per hour, we can multiply that by 60, multiply that by 60 minutes, and it looks like this. 0.022 by 1.7 hertz times 60 times 60. At the lowest rate, we're using 135 millilitres per hour, but now we're heating 4 rooms overnight. So what's that costing us in diesel? If we know we're using that per hour, we need to do some calculations, and I'm a bit rubbish at maths, but let's have a look at if we were using diesel straight from the Tesco pump. Our local Tesco at the minute, I think it's come down in the last week or so, it's charging us about £1.55 per litre, so 155p for 1,000 millilitres. So we can work out that per mil they're charging us about 15 pence. So per hour we're paying, through the diesel heater at its lowest setting, 21p. So by knowing that, multiplying it by 12, we're paying £2.52 to heat 4 rooms in the Caravan. So if you think about the last example, when it's costing us £8 to £10 a night, already at the lowest setting we're saving loads of money. But we're not running it on Tesco fuel, and we're not running it at the lowest setting. So let's take a look at the next example. Luckily we live on a farm, so we're able to get hold of something called red diesel, which is not for normal use. We can't put it in the car and drive it around on the roads. It's only for farm use and other applications. So we got 40 litres, about 35 to 40 litres of that the other day off a pump not too far from us, and we pay £1.14, which is a massive saving. So 114 pence for 1,000 mils. So if we do the calculations for that per millilitre of diesel, then it comes right down to 0.11. 3 hertz burns about 238 mils per hour. So we're getting to the point of 27 pence per hour instead of the last example. So 3 hertz is a good level for us to kind of get the rooms up to temperature, and we're still experimenting with this as we go through different temperatures overnight, but we reckon we're heating the Caravan 4 rooms overnight, we're heating for about £3.24, which is a huge saving for us. We're really pleased with that. It's been well worth the investment, and it'll do us for many winters to come. Feel free to give us a shout in the comments if you've got any questions, but we hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and thanks for taking the time to watch.